Hello, this is Sam Bismuth. I am an activist, a computer programmer, and a member of CPI. And today I wanted to tell you about the importance of maintaining sovereign thought. Okay? And this is something that people love to have a framework of ideas to guide their life. That's what a religion is. It tells you how to live your life the right way, and if you live your life the right way, you're going to go to heaven. And if you're a more secular version of that, maybe you think that you're going to progress society towards utopia or towards progress society in general, right? The sort of woke religion believes that you're progressing society in general. If you fight for social progressivism, you will make things better for future generations. You're fulfilling your moral duty, all these things, right? And the message of CPI can be interpreted by a person who wants to have a framework of action for their life. They can interpret the CPI message in the same way. Now, CPI, as an org, as far as I've seen, does not try to foster this type of thinking, because that is cult-like thinking. I have not seen us try to foster this type of thinking. A lot of parties, CPI is not a party, a lot of parties will create a line. They have a bunch of different thoughts and practices, usually very comprehensive list of them, but a bunch of thoughts and practices where if you follow the line, then you're doing the right thing. And if you don't follow the line, everyone's going to judge you, right? You're not going to be able to be a member of the party. And most of all, you're on the wrong side of history now. You're doing the wrong thing. You're part of the other guys now. That's how cults work. Now, a cult is going to be a lot more intense than some random woke communist party like PSL telling you how to think. Right? A cult is going to be a hell of a lot more than a think tank like CPI, which is pretty much giving you ideas, right? We talk about ideas. And we're allowed to debate these ideas and all these things. It's not even telling you how to think. But if you get into the wrong mindset, where you're waiting for somebody else to tell you how to think, you are in the wrong place. Think for yourself. And in order to maintain a sort of sovereign thought, in order to think for yourself, you have to study the things that you disagree with. You have to listen to people that you disagree with. And you have to weigh them in your head and weigh them against the reality that you know. It's hard work. Question everything. Now, you can't question everything. You can't question 2 plus 2 is 4. But question everything that you can. The moment that the impulse comes into your head, hey, wait a minute, is that right? Go ahead and question it. Do it. Be a sovereign thinker. And when you talk to people in CPI, we have a rationality about what we believe in CPI, about rebuilding America, right? About opposing degrowth, about, communism and communist history. We have an outlook, right? In general, there's a general outlook. It's not a specific outlook. It's not a list of talking points, necessarily. We have our 4-point plan, but that's very minimal, right? That's very simple. And it's important to interpret it in your own way and figure out what it really means and figure out how best to articulate it in a way that is going to reach broad masses of people, and based on your audience, what to say, what parts of it to highlight, what is the most important, and how do you bring people towards CPI. This is very important. And by maintaining this sovereign thought, by maintaining critical thinking, by not acting like a baby, sucking on the bottle, of CPI, waiting for members of CPI, waiting for Caleb to tell you what to think, and then just repeating it without investigating it for yourself, without going into detail and understanding it for yourself, right? Not saying Caleb is wrong about anything that I know of, right? I'm not saying he's wrong about anything, but if you listen to what he says and you just blindly repeat it without investigating and understanding it for yourself, as if he could be wrong, it's important, because when you accept the possibility that it could be wrong, that is when your mind is going to be the strongest. That is where confidence comes from. Confidence doesn't come from looking at only one side of information exclusively and closing your mind off. Confidence comes from looking at one side and looking at the opposite side and knowing that the opposite side is wrong and why they're wrong. And knowing why your side is right, not just because you hear it and it makes you feel good, not just because your friends in CPI are saying it, and if you agree with them, you're going to feel good and you're going to feel like you're in the group, but because you know that it is right. And that comes from sovereign thought. A big part of why I like CPI is because I think that it fosters a lot of this type of thinking where, yes, we are part of a collective organization. Yes, we kind of agree on certain things. We have a general sort of thought. But no, we don't just sit around waiting for Brian Becker to tell us what to think. We don't just sit around waiting for Bob Avakian to tell us what to think. We actually try to think for ourselves. We have a diversity of thought and opinion. We are free to argue and debate, and that is a wonderful thing. That is a wonderful thing. And that is why CPI is great, and that is why, as a member of CPI, you have a responsibility to investigate things for yourself, to build up your own understanding for the benefit of the entire org, so that we can sharpen our thought collectively, so that we can reach truth collectively. And that is very, very important. This has been Sam Bismuth, and I will talk to you again.